Before the white men came and settled, there were a number of Indian tribes that lived in this area. They hunted and fished and camped along Big Darby Creek. It was part of the Northwest Territory, part of the Virginia Land Grant.
Jonathan Alder, he had been born in New Jersey. His family moved when he was fairly young to the western part of Virginia. One day when he was about 9, he and an older brother went out looking for a horse of theirs that had wandered off, and they encountered some Indians who had come from Ohio. They killed Jonathan's brother, but they decided that they would take him back and adopt him into their tribe. When he was a young man, he decided he wanted to kind of strike out on his own.
He built several cabins around Plain City. The last one he built was south of town on what's now Plain City, Georgesville Road.
The first settlers from the east who came were in 1796, was a man named Benjamin Springer and his family. They met Alder, they built their cabin near his, and they helped him relearn English.
Jonathan Alder, he was the first white settler in Madison County. The Ewing brothers were the first white settlers in what is now Union County. Plain City is divided by the county line, and on the south side of town you're in Madison County, and on the north side of town you're in Union County.
It wasn't until 1818 that Isaac Bigelow came, and he had originally intended just to farm land around here. But he saw that there was a good deal of traffic on the Chillicothe Road and then also on what is now Main Street, which was called the Post Road, because it was the road that the mail carriers took from Worthington to Urbana. And so he laid out a town which he called Westminster. It was called Westminster for about 5 years. In 1823, it became Pleasant Valley. There was at least one other Pleasant Valley in Ohio. So in 1871, the name was changed to Plain City. And a lot of people think that the Plain has to do with the Plain people because we had a large Amish community here. Actually, it's because of the Darby Plains. There were 5 Amish families who came from Holmes County in 1895. By the 50s, we would have had at least 100 families of old order Amish.
The Amish, for the most part, all lived outside of town, and they, along with the farmers, would come into town on Friday night and Saturday to buy the things that they couldn't make at home. We had 3 or 4 big grain elevators in Plain City at that time, and of course all the farmers brought their grain in here for sale.
In 1900, there would have been probably 1,000, 1,200 people. It was a major shipping area for livestock, farm produce, eggs, things like that.
We had half a dozen grocery stores, dry goods stores and restaurants and things, movie theater. We have the hardware store that was on the corner across from the old Farmers National Bank, where the town clock sits on top. That town clock was given to the people of the village by a fellow by the name of Sammy Taylor, and it was dedicated in November of 1902. And that clock is still here, it still functions. It kind of became the symbol of Plain City. Most of the buildings in the downtown area were built around mid-1800s up to the early 1900s, and most of the buildings that were built during that period of time are still here. In June of 1912, there was a terrible storm that went through here. Most of the buildings in the downtown area were 3-story buildings at that time. When the storm came through, it took the top off almost all of the buildings, particularly on the north side of Main Street.
One of the things that characterizes Plain City is that it has always been very much tied to agriculture. I think even those of us who aren't farm kids who grew up in town, you were attuned to the rhythms of farm life. Is it too wet? Is it too hot? Is it too dry?
At one time, we had a canning factory here in town. This was back in the late 30s, early 40s, where they canned vegetables. Nearly everybody that had a little patch of ground that could plant some tomato plants would raise tomatoes and haul them to the canning factory and sell them. The same way most of the farmers raised sweet corn, and that would go to the canning factory.
I think you would find in any pioneer community that when you've only got 6 or 8 families in the area, your marriage prospects are somewhat limited. So everybody was marrying into everybody else's family.
Down through the generations, everybody is related to everybody else almost. I had cousins and aunts and uncles all over Plain City. Everybody else did too.
Right now we are, I guess you could say, on the cusp. We want to keep this small town feeling that we all grew up with, but we recognize that there are going to be a lot of changes.
We know that eventually we're going to be consumed by someone, probably Dublin or Hilliard, maybe Columbus. We don't mind growth, but we want controlled growth. That's our biggest fear, that it's going to just go wild like Dublin and Hilliard did.
The fact that so many of us after high school and college went away, but then we've come back, I think that's because we had that feeling of there's a real tie here to the area, to the families.
Of course, I still feel related to almost everybody in town, too.